Well, our next speaker is Stewart Wallis, who is CEO of the New Economics Foundation, which is an alternative economics think tank, which I think has fully integrated ecology in its outlook on economics. It includes interesting things like gross national peace. And I'm also hoping that Stewart will mention in his talk about some of his work the part that you played in the build-up to the Sustainable Communities Act, because I know you also were one of the great supporters of this. So, thank you, Stewart.
Can you hear me? Yeah? Okay, good. Bill Clinton didn't quite get it right. Rather than what he said was, it's the economy stupid. What he should have said is the economy that's stupid. Because, make no mistake, the economic system we're running now is a fundamental cause of our problems, and we need to change it urgently. What people don't realise is that we've got at least 4 crises going on at once. We've got the financial crisis and the recession. We've got climate change challenge, which is terrifying in its own right. But we're also running out of other ecosystems, especially exactly what Satish was saying. Most people get the first 2, not so many the third. The one that people seem to have forgotten altogether is that we're also facing an energy crisis. We've relaxed because oil is $30 a barrel. If all we do in this recession is just go back to business as usual, not only will we face runaway climate change and destruction of our ecosystems, but in 5 to 10 years' time, we'll be facing oil prices of somewhere between $300 and $400 a barrel, at our best estimate. If that happens, our current horrible recession will look like a picnic in the park. And really, we have not much time to change. The time is now. We absolutely have to be clear about that. And we need to make a rapid transition to a high well-being, socially just, sustainable economy. We haven't got an option. It's now. Another way to put it, and I use these terms advisedly, is from a he economy to a she economy. He, hyper-expansionist. She, sane, humane, ecological. That's what we need to do. Now, my talk tonight is 6 challenges in 6 minutes. And I've got less than 6 minutes, so it'll be even faster. There's some things we can do personally. And you'll find on the left stand out there a sheet that gives you various websites. There's a campaign called 100months.org, which has got massive following from all sorts of people and gives you monthly what you can do in your own life. There's a lot that we're calling on the government to do and governments to do. We published something called Green New Deal back in last summer. There's a few copies of that, many more on our website. That's been picked up by the UN, then Obama, and even Brown is using those terms now. We critically need a Green New Deal. We also, on that table, there'll be something called the Schumacher E4 Declaration, which is a group of people who came together at Schumacher College, thanks to Satish, saying what would that look like in practice. Again, look at that website. There's a link to that on the paper I've given. And then also, this was being mentioned, the whole question by Elaine, of well-being. We published the first set of national well-being accounts. And Britain, that's so prosperous, has the lowest level of trust amongst young people in any country out of the 22 countries in Europe. We're doing something very badly wrong, and we need to change it. But what I want to focus on, my 6 challenges, is what business, community, and local authority and public services can do together. That's what we can do here. I'm going to throw out terribly quickly 6 challenges. The first is that we tend to think we need more resources. It's always somebody's got to bring those resources. The truth often is if all those 3 actors work together, the resources already exist. They exist right here, right in these communities here in Hereford, and often there is enough money, enough energy, if only we use those things wisely. So one of the first things to do is to see and get together as groups to see what money is flowing in and out of your economy, what energy flows, what other natural resources. Map that, because it tells you so much. And when communities have done that, they've done all sorts of things, from totally changing how they manage their energy, to doing things like setting up finding their spending in a terribly poor community in Luton, 2 million quid on takeaway pizzas, which are ghastly ones anyway. They set up their own business to provide sustainable, very good, locally grown ingredients for pizzas and other things, employing now 15 people. That's exactly what you can do if you map what's happening. And we've done a coaching approach called BizFizz with local communities and local authorities, which literally helps people look at options, helps entrepreneurs and social enterprises start up. And we've created 3,000 businesses across the UK in some of the most deprived areas through that approach. It's far more successful in resource terms and business links and all these other business support systems. That's the first one. Look at what resources are flowing in and out, and you've actually got much of the power in your own hands if you come together. Number 2, get together as a community, and this has already been mentioned by Bridget, and look at how you move to, in your community, your village or your town, to a post-carbon community. And transition towns is one of the means. There's several others as well. Look at that. Number 3, 4 R's, not 3 R's we're used to at school, 4 R's. Reduce, reuse, repair, and recycle. That's the answer to moving to a low material economy. And if we do that, and Greenlinks could be terribly instrumental in that, then you're starting to set community recycling, community repair. How many things we throw away without repairing? Another really useful way to go. Number 4, don't look at taking carbon out of your houses and your local communities separate from regeneration. They can be the same thing. It's crazy that we see these as separate entities and separate ways of tackling it. There's a whole bit of work we've done with Exeter University, Devon Council and others to actually look at how you decarbonise the local housing stock, set up social enterprises within the community, create large numbers of jobs, insulate people, their own lofts. People do that within their community. They can create carbon credits that way that people doing offsets can pay into, so it's actually even self-funding. There's a way of seriously creating jobs right here in your community and making your houses carbon neutral, well, carbon better, not carbon neutral, but better. Number 5, procure differently and collaboratively. All the public sector organisations can get together right here and look at how they move to sustainable energy and use that power to help lots of businesses. Similarly, we've talked about it before, we've worked with Northumberland Council. They came to us and said, we've only got 5 million quid to spend on regeneration. We've got a massive need outside the big government schemes. Do we put up council tax? We said, no way. How much are you spending on procurement? 250 million quid. Where are you spending it? How much in the county? And show them if they just spent 10% more in the county, that would generate 35 million of economic activity, which is 7 times their regeneration budget. And they went ahead and put all school food into their hands. And you can do that within existing EU legislation by procuring at a local level rather than procuring county-wide. You can do it. Last one, use the Sustainable Communities Act that we were involved in helping, and your powers of well-being. They're there, and actually if you come up with ideas in your communities or your businesses, put them to the council. They have a right and a duty to put that through to the Secretary of State. And also it has to be published how much is being spent locally. So you can use that act to really move things forward and demand things differently in your community. That power is with you now, and the council has a power of well-being as well. Use them. They're absolutely there. I could go on much more than 6. I've run over my time already, but just a couple of others that you must do. Support your local post office. Today we've just launched with the Communications Union and others the idea of using the post office as a people's bank. That would be a really good idea. It's trusted, it's here, it's in your community. Let's use it rather than all this faffing we're going on about at the minute. And do things like complementary currency. So there's bags of things you can do. The key message is you can do it. You don't need to rely on anybody else, and link in with Greenlinks and others and do it. Thank you.